obvious, but they are so powerful. And that number one is that we lead first by example. Everything we say, everything we do sends a message, sets a tone, teaches people what to do or what not to do. Leadership is always trickle down from you to your people to others. My oldest son, Mike, had our first grandchild, Mike Jr., and he brought him over to the house, and little Mike was about 18 months old, and he was holding him on his hip, my son was. And my son came over, and we were having a discussion. And sometimes we're at opposite ends of things, and when my son wants to make a point, to accentuate a point, he'll use a big hand motion. He goes like this, and he does that all the time, and he's holding the baby, and we're having this discussion. And the baby's watching, and he's watching Dad, watching Grandma, watching Dad, watching Grandma. And when he figures that we're all through, he checks us out, gets a big grin on his face, and goes. Ladies and gentlemen, example is called congruity. Do you walk your talk? Do your words and your actions match? Can people trust your words and your actions? And as leaders, that trust and that faith and that ability to follow you is based on your example. Quiet, consistent, ethical, sensitive, caring examples. Leading them into the 21st century, shaping the Air Force of tomorrow. Let me give you the 5 F's of being a change master leader in the 21st century. What are you going to have to do? How are you going to have to act? So when you're fast, you can move quickly. When you're focused, each person knows how to do their job. When they're fluid, it moves quickly and flexible to handle the various needs of the customers and the constituents. And then the last is to be futurized, to always, always, always have your eye on the future. Fast, focused, flexible, fluid, and futurized. Those are the keys. That's where it's going. And each of you, in your job, in your heart, in your mind, are going to have to define, what does that mean to you? How can you use those? How can you help your people understand them, to identify core values, core principles, keys and learning and capabilities that Ed was talking about, taking those 5 and then now breaking them down and saying, this is what we need to do. Now, how are we going to do it? Because that's what a leader tries to help others do, is to break down major factors, to identify them so that they are trainable, they are doable, and we can measure results based on what those principles are. We are living in a profoundly different business world. The world has changed so much in the last 2 or 3 years. We have to look at business differently, and customer focus is about being emotionally and personally connected with the people that we're interacting with. The real key about it is, whenever we're dealing with someone, it's moment by moment, person by person, issue by issue. And if we can get that focused, what results you will get. It is incredible when we give everything our total attention. And let me tell you about a man I met. I live in San Francisco, and my front door is 56 steps from the street, because everything's built up in San Francisco. You can't build out. And when I call a taxi cab to take me off to the airport, what they usually do is they come and they pull up in my driveway downstairs, and they just honk the horn, because they don't want to come up 56 steps. They're also afraid they might have to carry something back down. So I called the cab one morning, and I thought it would take about the normal 15, 20 minutes. 5 minutes, the front doorbell rang. And I went to the top of those 56 steps. I opened the door, and there was a man standing there. Do you remember when, gentlemen, you used to like to wear polyester leisure suits? Big, fat, wide tie, too short, couldn't tuck in his trouser. Little Irish cap on his head and a smile from ear to ear, and he says, "Good morning, I'm here to take you to the airport." I said, "You're my cab driver?" He said, "I am indeed." He said, "Do you have any bags this morning?" I said, "Really?" He said, "Yes." So I gave him the bags, and I quickly followed him down, and he rushes over, he goes over, he opens the back door, I get in, he closes the door, and on the back seat next to me are 3 morning newspapers neatly lined up. I thought, this is wonderful for me to read. He gets in, closes the door, puts his arm over the back seat, And with a big smile on his face, he says to me, "It's so nice to have you with me."